I'm Lauren Whitehurst. I'm a certified personal trainer and certified nutrition coach.
Hi, I'm Sunny Lippincott. I'm a certified professional life coach and a certified brain health professional.
We also have Angela Salyers, who is a licensed professional counselor, and the three of us together make up
Whole Life Vitality.
We teach whole life vitality of the mind, body, and soul, bringing the physical, emotional, and spiritual together for whole life wellness. Welcome back, friends.
Welcome back.
We are here today to talk to you about mental reserve.
Mental reserve.
Mental reserve. That's so interesting. What do you think of when you think mental reserve? I think of like, okay, I don't know that anyone else will get this. I think of like food storage for the mind. Does that make sense? Isn't that, okay, so I grew up with like the doomsday kind of family, and they were
Y2K?
Okay, they were Mormon. And Mormons are really big into food storage. Okay, so I grew up in this space where they were like 72-hour kits and food storage and the end of days and, you know, what's going to possibly happen, and we have to be prepared for the worst. And so that's what I think. I think mental reserve, I think prepare for the worst.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not wrong. Like, it's actually pretty good. It's a pretty good explanation.
So when we're talking mental reserve, then we're like, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
It's actually, yeah. I mean, yeah. But I guess it's more along the lines preparing for the worst without having to hope. Like, okay, you're prepared.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? Like,
so what exactly is a mental reserve?
Okay. So this is what I use a lot with my coaching practice. So have you ever noticed how two people can maybe go through the same event and one of them handles it really, really well, but then another one handles it really, really poorly?
Yeah. Same thing.
Do you ever wonder why that happens? Well, before I got into, mindset training, I thought, well, that's just their personality. They can
I always
handle
assumed it was baggage.
They can handle things better and this person can't. Or they have a better life and this person doesn't.
Okay.
Okay.
Innate inherent defect.
Yeah, it's. But what I've learned is that it has so much to do with their mental reserve. So imagine you have two people. And listen, I just wrote a book, and I tried to pick, when I wrote my book, I tried to pick names that were not common and people wouldn't use, because I was just talking, I had no one in mind, and I was just saying a name. And so I was like, and lo and behold, I had people messaging me saying, were you talking about this person? Were you talking about, and I'm like,
what?
Oh my gosh, I can't. So I'm not even going to pick a name for this person. I'm just going to say person, because if I pick a name,
person
then somebody,
A, person B,
somebody's going to be like, was that me? I'm not calling anyone out.
You know what? If
I
you
will
feel
call
like,
myself out.
If you feel like you're being called out, then maybe it's just because this is speaking to you. And that's okay.
My husband is a pastor, and that's what he tells people. He's like, listen, I am not held responsible for how the Holy Spirit speaks to you.
There you go.
On what I've said.
There you go.
So I'll just say, I'm going to use myself for an example. How about that?
There you go. Perfect.
I'll use myself for example. So there was a time in life where I would get up in the morning. Well, the alarm would go off and I'm hitting snooze. And then it goes off again and I hit snooze. And it goes off again and I hit snooze. And so I have hit snooze maybe 7-8 times. And it goes off this last time. And it is past the point that I have no more time.
Yep.
I hop up out of bed and I am running around like a crazy person. So I run to my kids and I'm very aggressively waking them up from
why
their
aren't you awake? Why aren't you ready?
restful sleep. And that's not good for anyone. And I'm very aggressive to my husband. It's not his fault, but I'm just so mad.
In that moment, it might have felt like it was his fault.
Everything felt like it was someone else's fault.
Sure.
Who was hitting snooze?
We can take personal responsibility at the end of the story.
At the end of the story. So here's the deal. I'm going and I'm throwing things, in bags, and we get in the car and I'm like peeling out on 2 wheels, get behind a truck.
Every time.
I kid you not. This is a true story. It was a huge dump truck. And on the back of it, it had a sticker that said, "You should have left 5 minutes earlier." I swear to you, as God is my witness, it said that. You should have left 5 minutes earlier.
Speaking to you.
I was in it. Now it's hilarious. At the time, I was so mad. I was so angry. Even more mad. Then realized that we forgot homework at home. It was just everything.
Being rushed never ends well.
You get to work and they're like, "How's your morning?" It's awful.
Yep.
This and this and this happened. And then the day just progressively got worse and worse and worse.
As it does.
Oh, here's the deal. I had for you, there was no preparedness.
Yeah, there was
within
no reserve
me at all.
Yeah.
So it's like going into starvation mode with nothing. There's no food. We live in South Alabama. There's hurricanes here.
Yep.
We know better when a hurricane comes to not have things to be prepared. Like, you have food, you have water, because you are going to lose electricity.
Just go to the grocery store. All the bread will be gone.
Batteries,
all the batteries will be gone. All the water will be gone.
Everything will be gone. But they're being prepared. They're preparing themselves.
Yep.
So, when these things happen, they have what they need.
Yep.
So I had no preparedness within me. And then everything was everyone else's fault.
Yep.
Enter mindset. And I started, that's when I hit my, anxiety disorder. And I had to start making changes into my life. And I started with a morning routine. Every morning I got up and I mentally prepared myself for whatever was going to happen. For me, it was anxiety that I was fighting. So I learned about gratitude. So every morning I'm getting up and I'm journaling gratitude every single morning. I'm reading about ways to fight anxiety naturally.
I'm visually looking at your fuel tank.
Oh, just steadily going up. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you want to know about morning routines, by the way, that we're talking about, we've already done a podcast on morning routines. So go back and find that podcast. It is a game changer.
It's literally, it changed my life.
Yep.
Like, I don't just say that. I'm not being dramatic.
Nope.
It actually changed my life.
Yep.
And so, I started doing all these things, and that was in 2017. I still, to this day, have a morning routine every morning. I get up. Now, when I coach my clients, I don't take you from 0 to 100. So your morning routine maybe starts with just 10 minutes, and mine started with 20. I just started with 20 minutes.
Start with what you have available.
Yes, absolutely. I'm at an hour now. I prefer to have an hour, but I've worked myself up to that. So my morning routine involves, I get up every morning. When my alarm goes off, I get up and I do a devotion. I have a devotion that I do. I do Bible reading. Then I do my gratitude. I still write gratitude every single day. I do book reading because I'm always trying to learn more. I want to grow my knowledge on things. So I'm always reading the book, and I really read to understand now, not just to finish. Like, it may take me months to get through a book because I may just sit there and digest one page every day and just meditate on that.
Well, and you have to think about your brain health on top of your physical health, on top of your financial health. We're dynamic individuals.
Right.
We have everything. And so when I spend time reading and learning, I think these are more cognitively alert years that I'm getting further down the road.
Absolutely.
Because you're exercising your brain, which is
if
huge.
you don't use it, you lose it.
Absolutely.
And the same goes for your mind.
Yep.
So both Sunnies have mornings. One was just tearing into everyone. Now I'm already up. I've been up for an hour by the time it's time to get my children up. And I can go in there and I'm kind to them. I can help them ease up. We have breakfast. We all have breakfast.
There's a big difference being woken up with a smile and a good morning to, oh my gosh, why are you still asleep? Get out of bed.
We're late.
Yeah.
We have breakfast. Their lunches, I have everything sitting out. Their bags are all together. And even that allows me time that if my 6-year-old needs a little more time that morning to be held, I can do that.
Maybe I need a little more time in the morning to be held. That sounds lovely.
Do that. And we can go. And if we're stuck behind that car, it's okay. We can sing, turn on music. We can sing. If they've forgotten things, which has still happened, it's okay. I'm like, you know what? It's not a big deal. I'll bring it. And if I don't have the time to bring it, I'm like, you know what? Just tell your teacher, I'll bring it after school.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. There's no more freak outs anymore. And that is mental reserve right there. That when these, not if, when these trials and things come into your life, when these setbacks happen, because life has not been all mashed potatoes and gravy for me since, learning about mindset. I still have, issues that come up. I still have stumbling blocks. I still have bad days. I'm a coach and I have bad days. It happens because I am not a robot.
Yep. The best coaches have a coach.
Yes, I have a coach.
Yeah.
I still lose my temper at times, but I have a mental reserve built up now because every morning I am doing the work. I am putting into myself every day so that when these things happen and it takes from me, I'm okay.
You have space. And when you bounce back, it's not as far to go.
Oh, I'm starting on my feet instead of on my knees.
Yes.
All right. It's like I get to start on my feet with preparedness instead of like crawling. And so when these things come up, they used to knock me down, send me to bed. Like depression and anxiety took over, and then panic attacks would ensue.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When the panic attack is just so close to the surface, and I've been there, you've been there,
absolutely,
where
many times.
You're just pushing yourself and pushing yourself and pushing yourself, and that panic attack, is just like one bad conversation away,
right?
Or one thing gone wrong away. If it's that close, you don't have any reserves,
right?
You're flying on empty here.
Absolutely. It's fumes then.
Yeah.
You're left with fumes. And I teach this, to my clients because it's so important. And we start every coaching call, or every coaching session with what good happened and then what struggles. And my favorite part of coaching is when the struggles come up, they will say what happened, but there's always, and then I had this, or then I remembered this, and then I thought this, and there's always clarity on the other side of it. And I said, you know what that is that's mental reserve.
Yes.
You are pouring into yourself every morning, because all of my clients, first things first, we have a morning routine for them. So we set it up specifically for them. It's tailored for them. So you have your routine, and if you are doing it, then you are constantly filling your tank up. So that when those things happen, you've got the clarity there.
Absolutely.
That, that still small voice comes in and says, you know what, but this. And wow, you can be like, that sucked, but I can think this way, or I can, pray about this, or I can, take some time and what are my options? It's always on the other side. So mental reserve, it's so important. That's the difference between the two people.
And then bring it all the way back around to the hurricane analogy that you started out with. If you didn't prepare, if you are living on fumes, if you are just that one bad moment away from a panic attack, then what happens in a hurricane when you didn't prepare?
Well, that's happened too. That's happened.
You have to rely on your community.
Yes, you do.
And so then it's about building your community.
Right.
People who support you, people who are there for you, people who you can count on. Are these the people that drag you down, that also don't prepare and then rely on you? Or are these the people that do the work and prepare, and when you are struggling, then they are there for you?
Yeah, Absolutely. So important.
Yep. We can do another podcast on this another day, but you become the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so look at those people that you're spending time with and say, is this the kind of community that we're lifting each other up and we're growing together? Or is this the type of community that we're all just kind of living on fumes and struggling together? It makes a big difference.
Huge. It's everything.
Yeah. Such good advice, Sunny. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. I'm glad that I can keep being the examples.
You know what? I think we all have stories like that.
We do.
I mean, we all have stories of letting the tank run empty. I struggled. I started getting migraines when I was 9 years old. And the kind of migraines that I lose my vision, they're optical migraines. They knock me out for about 24 hours. I can't do anything, literally can't do anything. I sit in a dark room and no sound, like sensory deprivation kind of situation. Everything has to shut down. And I know what that line feels like now.
Yes.
If I'm getting too close to that line.
Right.
But there was a time in my life that I lived right there on the edge.
Yeah.
And it was a very regular occurrence, maybe daily, maybe weekly, where I was getting these migraines and everything was shut down because your body knows if you get a panic attack, you will rest.
Right.
My body knows if I have a migraine, I will rest. And your body is looking out for you and it wants to keep you okay. It wants to keep you functional.
That's how God designed it.
Absolutely.
It's so intricately designed, and God designed it to speak to you so often.
This weekend, busy weekend, and so hot here in Lower Alabama. And I thought, someone needs to mow the lawn.
Oh my gosh.
And you know who that someone was? That someone was me. And I finished mowing the lawn. My husband was out there too. He's trimming up the hedges and I'm mowing the lawn. And I finished up mowing the lawn and I'm using the blower to blow everything away. And in that moment, I thought, if this had been a different time in my life, I would be this close to getting a migraine, or for the rest of the day, I'd be laid up.
Yeah, like a hospital visit.
I would be completely laid up. And I felt that moment where my body could have gone that direction. And I thought, that's not me anymore. I have the reserves. I have the ability to cope in a healthy way through this and not be shut down by this.
It's so amazing.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer because it's, like we said, it's not if we have these issues come up, it's when.
Yep.
And so do you have the reserve built up for when they show up?
Because they always do. Life will always happen.
God.
And aren't we glad for that?
Yeah. That's why we're here. Because life happens.
Absolutely. If you need help getting started on this journey, we have a 30-day mindset reset. It's a freebie at wholelifevitality.com that can walk you through these steps.
Yeah, there's little prompts every day. Little, like they're not time consuming at all. Little things that you can apply to your life that build up mental reserve.
Absolutely. And you do it every day for 30 days. So then you're creating a new habit.
Yes.
And affecting change in your life and the lives of those around you.
Yeah, do it with your kids.
Yep. Because when the tide comes in, all ships rise.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Oh, man.
It is beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any comments or suggestions or a topic that you would like to hear about, we would love to hear from you.
Yep. We're here.
Yep. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.